Hi all. Today we will discuss about technology and teacher education. So we are living in the context of a technology driven era. So what teacher education and how this technology influences teaching, teacher and teacher education. That's so significant because technology is developing, changing so rapidly. New and new technology, newer applications, novel tools are emerging on a daily basis. And how these things influence education, influence teaching, how we can make use of the most modern as well as evolving technologies. That's a big task because we are not properly trained for getting pace with the changing technology. The system of teacher education still lagging behind in terms of technology. A mere inclusion of a paper, of a course as ICT or something like that is not adequate to get in pace with the ongoing, that exploding technologies of today as well as tomorrow. So in this presentation, I would like to mention the evolution of technology, what are different forms of technology that influence education, especially teacher education, and what shall be the future where we are going. So, the evolution of technology. The technology, you know, as educational technology, it's evolved as supportive to teaching, to support teaching. The teaching, the term, when we hear the term teaching, what action come into our mind? It's some verbal descriptions. Most of the time, monologues, not even dialogues. Teacher continually speaks, and students supposed to listen or writing notes or making something like that. So the teaching is a teacher dominant verbal instruction directed dominant process procedure. So in the course of time, when the number of learners increases, enhances, teacher student ratio increases, when more and more students enroll for education, then comes the significance of some additional things, additional materials, supportive materials to make teaching more easy. So that's why technology come to the field of education as a supporting role, as a supportive role in the form of some audiovisual aids and all, or some kind of devices. The OHP overhead projector, which help for some presentation or in the past, not in remote past, but in some 2-3 decades back, And nowadays we have different types of devices. So technology come in the form of devices mainly, and at the same time that teaching technology also changes in the mode or the strategies in teaching as well as. So anyhow, the initial step was as supportive to teaching. Then the second phase of evolution, the technology get integrated with teaching. That is what we can experiencing by this last decade. Integrated education, integrated teacher education. Not the integration of this degree plus teacher education, not like that. That technology integration in teaching as well as teacher education. So technology became an integrated part. Instead of lecturing directly, you can provide, you can make use of some technology, some other media also for teaching, or as a main media, a video presentation as a main medium. So that's a technology integration. Use of a Google form for assessment. That is technology integration. So such kind of merging of technology with teaching. That's all. That's the established system of education by last few years. Even though we are still continuing with the traditional face-to-face system of education. And the third category, or the recently evolved system of education by the evolution of technology, is managing teaching. Technology manages teaching. That is in the form of learning management systems. So technology, from the place of just a supportive role, evolved in the form of an integrated part of teaching, and now it take the role of a teacher in many ways, in many forms. That is managing teaching. Technology now starts managing teaching. So that's a brief course of evolution of technology. Now we can see different forms in this due course of evolution. First, as you know, it's the audio-visual aids. So such aids which are we traditionally use, different kinds of some audio aids, some visual aids in the form of different materials, objects, devices, etc. And soon after we are starting using such kind of audio-visual aids, we feel that something more is required. That's why we started multimedia presentations or aids or materials. That also with the help of some devices. Then comes the information technology. So information, there are once teacher is the sole custodian of knowledge or sole provider of information, and suddenly, Due to the development of information technology, there came a set of sources of information. So an information explosion has happened, and that devices and forms of technology, the digital technology, information in digital form, which help us to easy storage, access, and dissemination. And that information technology soon evolved as information communication technology. The information alone is not adequate, but it shall be properly communicated. That's very essential. So in teaching especially, we are trying to incorporate various tools, techniques, applications, etc. So learning applications, different kinds of learning applications are everyday basis. Now these learning applications are developing by various persons, agencies, institutions, etc. So all these will enable learners to learn better. So that's the result. So a person can sit at home and learn everything. No need to go for an institution. That's the advantage of this particular evolution or revolution. It's a silent revolution because it provides facilities for optimum learning wherever the learner goes. So that's the advantage of this technology. And technology doesn't stop at this particular phase. It goes on. It's going on. Now the Internet of Things. Internet, at first we used it for dissemination of information or gathering of information or searching for some relevant information or providing or sharing some information. And now that internet evolved as Internet of Things. By utilizing this internet, we can integrate, we can control, we can manage different kinds of varieties of things at a time. Our mobility, our communication, our teaching, devices at home, everything we can control. So that from mere information transfer to controlling physical objects or managing physical objects. That's another remarkable evolution. And the present AI, artificial intelligence. All over the world, the data science and the research on artificial intelligence is going on in a very, very tremendous pace. Everything is going in this way. For by a simple example, suppose you search for something in using your phone. You wish to purchase something, so you just search for it. Soon after, the next time when you take your phone, you will get some ads in your browser, or you will get even some personal messages about such devices. Because all these systems are now managed by AI, artificial intelligence. So they can uh, clearly understand our perception, our uh, demands, our viewpoints, even our preferences, our likes, our dislikes, our movements, everything. So technology is going on its own way now. So these are some of the forms of technology from this mere audio visual aids, from the some kind of flashcards or some charts to artificial intelligence. Then the impact of technology initially or basically for better learning. So that's the minimum or intended impact. In teaching, we expect technology help us to promote better learning or to provide facilities for easy teaching as well. Then for creating certain simulations as well as real life situations in class, we can create a real life situation or we can provide exposure to real life situations because many life situations cannot be actualized. Maybe those situations are dangerous or practically not possible. So a presentation, a video from a wild, dangerous animals, we cannot bring it into class or we cannot bring students to such a place. So technology help us to bring those situations easily into a class, or we can simulate something working of a machine or something like that, which otherwise is not possible for students to see by their or observe by using their senses. And the another impact, the education has evolved so much by combining with entertainment to transform that dry education as edutainment, learning through playing or through entertainment. So that's one form of one impact, as well as technology, teaching plus technology, technology. So that's another impact, that integrated teaching learning process with the help of or with the upper hand of technology. Then another major impact of technology is that a transition has happened in the system of education from teaching to learning. So that brought by the impact of technology. Because once teacher was the only provider of knowledge, only source of information. Nowadays it is not like that. A teacher is not required to provide information. There are so many sources which provide authentic information as and when the learner required. And a teacher may not be so accessible for a learner. Or teacher is available only during limited time. But technology is not like that. It is a 24/7 provider of information. So transition from teaching to learning, that's an important impact. Then, of course, the learning management systems like Moodle, Google Classroom, etc. So these systems can manage learning process, not only providing study materials, but also manage assessment. So teaching here is limited to preparation of some materials or preparation of some testing devices. All other things will be managed by the system, that LMS, learning management systems. Such systems become prevalent in the system of education day by day. So the technology is influencing teaching so drastically. So we have to modify ourselves. We have to evolve ourselves according to this kind of changes. Otherwise, what will happen? Teacher out and technology in. So beware of the technology. Don't become slave of technology, but make it our slave and use it for our purpose to teach better or to help our learners to learn better and help for uh, easy and comprehensive continuous assessment. So this is a brief presentation regarding the impact of technology. So thanks for watching the presentation. Thank you all.